This is what we're talking about now, a book. We're asking if we should ban this book because it claims Jesus can cure gays. Called Where Is Your Brother? It tells the fictional story of Ryan, a father of two who leaves his wife and kids for a new life with his friend Tony. But then Ryan has a religious experience and, thanks to the power of Jesus, rejects his gay relationship. Eileen Moore, who publishes the book next month, says the tome is needed because a lot of people have been led astray by homosexuality. She said, even if gay people objected to the idea they can be cured, we want them to read the book to find out more about the healing power of Jesus. I know Jesus can heal them. That's what she says. Now, the gay campaigning group Outrage is outraged. It says if the medical world accepts homosexuality is not a disease and therefore can't be cured, then it can't be cured. And as we've just heard, a psychotherapist, Leslie Pilkington, is currently facing a tribunal to see if she should be struck off for claiming to cure gays. But should Where Is Your Brother be banned? That's the question. It's against the law to stir up hatred against anyone because of their sexuality, which suggests that it might be illegal. But what about the right to express your religious views? Do sincere Christians, people with profound beliefs, have the right to express their feelings that homosexuality is wrong? Well, maybe not after the Christian hoteliers, Hazel Mary and Peter Bull, were last month found guilty of sexual discrimination for banning gays from sharing a bed at their B&B. They are appealing, though. Here we go again, isn't it? Freedom of speech, freedom to express your religious views versus the gay rights group, I guess.
I would be interested to read the book. I hope that's not the wrong thing to say, just because I can't believe that there's so fashions, and be interesting to read it and just be shaking my head at the whole time, going, what a ridiculous...
Christians will say the only thing that's changed fashion-wise is our liberal view towards homosexual relationships, which, according to Leviticus, are an abomination.
You say it's not a disease, is it? You know, it can't be cured. It is what it is.
Some Christians believe it can.
No. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I don't believe any of that. I think that's just propaganda for the church.
Do they have the right to publish a book in which Jesus cures gay people?
Well, I don't think they do, actually. Okay. I think it should be banned if it, in fact, says it will cure you of homosexuality. But, you know, people find Jesus in many different ways, you know, and some people do, some people don't. And it's not because, you know, if the story is about a guy with a woman, his wife and kids, and then he leaves that woman for a man, and then goes back to the woman, I don't think that's any different than a man leaving his wife, going to his mistress, and then getting bored, and then going back. You know, you don't need to find Jesus to go back to your wife and children. No. Good point. You know, it might just be the strength of love, you know, and whether he had sex with a man or a woman is beside the point, in my opinion, and that's why I make this sort of propaganda and looking at what Eileen looks like. I mean, terrifying.
Oh, but don't judge a book by its cover, Craig.
Yeah, well, I am judging this book by its cover because I've not read it, but if it, in fact, does say that, and, I mean, just the premise of it, you can judge the book by its cover, I'm afraid, you know, so...
But this book has been published by a very small publisher in Canada, and it's being imported...
Well, it's a British publisher with a Canadian author.
Right, and it's being imported, though, isn't it? And distributed by this lady and her husband, as far as I can see. It's that small. It's being launched...
a Christian B&B was a very small institution as well, 15 rooms.
What I'm saying is, you know, the only thing that's blowing this up into headlines that spur outrage is publicity. And I can't help but think, don't ban this book, but laugh it off.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
I mean, let's not even... It's not what she's trying to do. The message it's trying to give out is so laughable.
I'll tell you why you've got to be careful.
Really talking
because that psychotherapist, OK, Pilkington, she's midway through a tribunal. The tribunal's been halted. There's allegations that one of the witnesses is being intimidated. There's a suggestion the intimidation is coming from gay activists, right? So you've got someone's career hanging by a thread there. There are, whether we like it or not, they are issues of our time, and they are affecting people's lives profoundly.
Yeah, but the publicity can turn it into a majority issue, and it really isn't. I mean, these are a small group of troublemakers, aren't they?
Well,
with extreme views, and if we give them the oxygen of publicity, they become more important than they're worth.
But so it is acceptable, you're saying then, to publish and disseminate extreme views just so long as nobody gets to hear about them?
No, you see, this is where you and I we argue with the idea of free speech means that as long as this book doesn't actually incite racial hatred or something, it has the right to exist.
Yes, but...
I worry about the way it's going to be publicised.
If it's promoting that it's a cure, then it should be banned.
Because
if it's promoting, you know, that if you find Christianity and love, you may then turn back to your wife, then fine.
No,
I don't have a problem with that.
It tells the story of somebody who, for whom Jesus cures his homosexuality.
Yeah,
which suggests that homosexuality is an imperfection, a flaw, a disease.
Yeah.
It's inciting hatred, and then it's putting down minority groups.
See, I can't help feel, but in the interest of free speech, it has the right to exist between the hardcovers of the book. But people who are then trying to sell it to us, they've got to be very careful what they say to us. And that's why I just think it's the oxygen of publicity that's damaging, more damaging than the book.
OK. The publisher has said, by the way, that she's kind of... she already anticipates controversy. And I think she's quite looking forward to the fight. And there's an element
they're going for a high-profile launch.
Well, there we
go.
And it's a pleasure to give them their first step up as far as that goes. Let's throw it open to you. Should this book be banned?
OK, we have Phil first on line 1.
What do you reckon, Phil?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. We talk about banning of the book.
Yeah.
However, yes, you can ban the book, but everybody is down to make up their own minds, down to individuality, isn't it? The unfortunate thing is, as was just discussed, is should the book be banned because it's fraud? Because I'm a homosexual, have been since I broke up from an engagement some 20 years ago, and, we know that homosexuality is not cured. It's not cured in medical grounds. I do not believe it can be cured by the church. There are all forms of religion out there, and, OK, people are allowed to believe in religion and believe in their own beliefs, but the key thing is they shouldn't inflict it on others.
But then... God, that's why it gets so difficult, isn't it? Because with the Christian hoteliers, they have a profound belief, a misguided and wrong belief, in my view, that homosexuality is an abomination, it's wrong, it goes against God, and therefore they didn't want gay people in their hotel. Now, their freedom to pick and choose who should stay in their hotel in the light of their religious views has been overturned by the courts, and they said they're wrong. Here... we have to allow people to have the freedom to have their own views, but surely to express their own views as well. And that's where I can't make up my mind one with it. I hate banning books, but at the same time, if somebody is genuinely offended by it, and I think the test of the law would be moved to do some degree of physical harm, so maybe go to a bookshop and smash a window or something like that because they're outraged, then that could prove that the book it contravenes sexual discrimination laws, and therefore, why are we allowing books that are illegal to be published?
Exactly. The other thing, Matthew, is just like when you have spiritual programmes on TV or you have films, why not have a big warning sticker on the front of this book saying, actually, the contents of this book may not be true, may only be believed by some, and therefore, people have the right to make up their own mind before they buy the book.
What would you have? We can't have pink trousers. How about a blue cross? Just a thought.
Or a picture of Jesus on the front, maybe.
Thank you, Phil. I love that. Cheers. Let's have another.
OK, we'll take Peter next on line 3.
Morning, Peter.
Hello, how are you?
I'm OK, I'm OK. I must admit, I'm not clear in my own head whether I think the book should be banned or not. What do you think?
Well, look, I don't think we really should be censoring anything in this day and age. I'm a gay man. I live in London. It's a great city for me to be able to be free. I'm also Christian, which is a bit of a tension, being gay.
I bet, yeah.
I think there are a lot of gay men out there who are in denial about being gay. And, I think if this book could help them, come to terms with, sort of hiding it and wanting to be straight and live a so-called normal life, well, then that's great, and it's a good book for them.
Peter, you've got to tell me this. I mean, how do you resolve being gay and being Christian with Christians like Eileen Moore who feel that you are diseased and need to be cured by Jesus?
Well, look, there are a lot of nutters in every sector in the world, so, I think...
Absolutely.
You sort of just have to kind of put their extreme views to one side. There are a lot of Christians that accept being gay. The church I go to is inclusive and doesn't really have a problem with it. In fact, most of the congregants are gay. So, you just have to kind of reconcile the fact that a lot of the religious messages are a bit strange and outdated in terms of things like, God creating the world in 7 days and all that kind of stuff.
Well, you're not saying... And curing homosexuality, which this book is all about, darling. So,
I agree. Look, I agree that. But, there are a lot of medical people that also believe that homosexuality can still be cured.
And the Bible actually says it too. I mean, we're not going to ban printing of the Bible,
Well,
are
that's
we?
what I say, exactly. You know, the Bible has got a lot of unusual messages that really don't fit with modern living now anyway.
But if you follow my idea of a blue cross warning on the front of Bibles, that's that problem solved as well.
Well, it would do, yeah, absolutely. But then again, people have the freedom not to read it.
I might copyright this, you know. I think I'm onto something here. Peter, thank you. One more, please.
OK, we'll have Michelle next on line 2.
Oh, excellent. Ladies for you. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What do you think, Michelle?
Well, I suspect I'm pretty much the same as your last caller. I mean, I don't find dogma on both sides helpful at all. I think there's room for all of us in the world, and I mean, I think that, I do believe in God, but I don't find myself being able to go to church because I find dogma is too unhelpful. I don't want to listen to all of the messages. I think they are spouting things that are potentially,
not necessarily what Jesus would have thought. No, I always think, try and do the acid test of try and put yourself in Jesus' shoes and think what Jesus would have thought.
Exactly.
Would Jesus go around saying, I'm not having anything to do with you because you're gay? Well, it's pretty obvious from my limited reading of the New Testament that he absolutely wouldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I can't get my head round. The Jesus I believe in wouldn't do those things.
OK, we'll leave that one there. Thank you very much,
That's
Michelle.
all, doesn't it?
Excellent. What a wonderfully enlightened audience we have. Now...